Hey, this is Eric from Catching Light.
Hey, this is Hemp.
Hey, this is Glenn.
Hi, I'm Steve-O.
Hey, this is Drew Hines with Hindsight Imagery.
This is Matt Callahan at Digimatty Photographic Services.
Hey, this is Jason, and welcome to Tales from the Pit. Hello and welcome to Tales from the Pit, the behind-the-lens access for concerts and photography. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Shelby Hansen, and he is the touring manager for Pop Evil and touring tech for several other bands as well. Shelby, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Thanks
Great.
for being here. To get us started off, can you give us a little bit of a background of how you got started in sort of this industry?
So I had my own band for, I don't know, a good better part of 15 years, and became friends with a lot of touring guys and did a lot of regional stuff, and was around it all the time. And then a friend of mine here in Detroit was on a singing show. It was The Voice, and he ended up he got kicked off the first year, and the second year he went all the way to runner-up. And along the way, he made a fan over in the country of Jordan. The Princess of Jordan liked his story and asked him to come over and do a charity event for her foundation. So he and I talked, and he asked me to help him out because gear and logistics were not his thing. So I helped him out, and we went over to the Middle East for 3 months. Toured a bunch of different countries there. I came back, and then shortly after, he got a call from Stone Temple Pilots, and he did the whole process. That process took well over a year, and we went back and forth to LA a few times, and when that came to fruition, we went, and I just went with him. We toured, and I went on the tours with SCP, and then in the meantime, I had tech for Doyle Bramhall, who's Eric Clapton's guitar player, and I had tech for Uncle Kracker some shows, and little Gary Hoey action a couple times. Gary's a good dude. And so that just kind of happened with STP, and then in between STP tours, I got asked to go out with Bob Seger. So I did Bob Seger for 2017. And then that got cut short because he hurt his neck. So we all came home, and Pop Evil fired back up. We went out. We toured a lot last year. Last 2 years we toured a lot. And then we came home from that. And then ironically, the week that I came home, I was asked, Alto Reed from Bob Seger's band, his tech hurt himself. So I got a call on a Tuesday, and by Wednesday night I was in Philadelphia, and I finished that tour. And then came back here, and then we got the acoustic stuff we just did, and then all this COVID stuff hit. So we had a really busy year, and then COVID hit and kind of destroyed everything. So
Yeah, no kidding. So to go back on the band stuff, are you still doing band stuff?
No, man, I don't have time to schedule things out because things come so quickly. Like the acoustic tours, I talked to Lee, Pop Evil singer, and it was like instant within a month. Like we had an acoustic tour planned. So doing a band here in Detroit, all the venues booked so far in advance, I can't commit to it, and I don't want to be that guy that cancels, So if I was only doing one band, I knew the schedule was solid and it wasn't going to change and alter, then I probably would have time to do it. But
So what
not in the cards right now. What's that?
Were you the singer? Were you the singer of the band?
I sang. I played a little guitar. I wouldn't call myself a guitar player by any means, but I sang and played guitar, and I kind of tour managed that band locally, so to speak. That was my thing there. So we play a lot of fairs and festivals, and opened up for. I've been friends with Brett Michaels guys for over a decade. We played with them. Pete, their guitar player, is a really great guy, and Ray and Chuck and all those guys. So played with them quite a bit, and we did some stuff. Really cool thing here at one of the casinos. We played an after-show party for Whitesnake, Tesla, and Lita Ford.
Cool.
And Gary Hoey was playing guitar for Lita, and they came in the after-show party because Gary and I knew each other. And Brian Tichy got up on drums, and Doug jumped up on from Whitesnake, jumped up on the guitar, and then Brian Rudy, or not, Brian, he's going to kill me. Brian from Tesla jumped up. He was playing too, and I'm looking around and I'm singing with these guys. I'm like, hey, that's pretty rad, man. These guys are all seasoned pros that everybody loves, you know? So it was
Got
fun.
an all-star band.
Yeah, I mean, I was the only not all-star up there, but it was fun.
Is that band available? Can people listen to anything?
No.
What's the name of the band, by the way?
Monkey Grinder was the name of the band. I don't know that there's anything really online worth watching or whatever. It was more of a just have fun and hang out with our buddies kind of band. So it's nothing I would point anybody to go enjoy their Saturday night listening to at this point, but we had fun at the time, you know?
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I certainly understand that. You know, you and I met because my band actually opened up for Pop Evil back in 2019. So that was very cool. And, you know, I got to say, Pop Evil's always been one of my favorites. And, you know, you guys were so cool. I mean, you were just so laid back with everything. And it was such an awesome show for us. So,
well, you know, it's really important. I think it's important for crew guys to understand that no matter who's on the bill, everybody's equally as important. Everyone's got their own reasons for being there, and they deserve to have a good time. And, you know, if you were to come in and have a bad experience, I would have not been happy with that because, you know, you should have a good time. That's what it's all supposed to be about. So, you know,
right. Exactly.
I have to help facilitate that. That's my job, and I would hope that most tour managers have the same opinion. I think they do, you know, the majority at least. So the adage of having an attitude and being cooler than somebody else, I think, is in the past, you know. We're all on the same team. We all want the shows to go good. We want the fans to have a great time. Because even if they're not there to see us, maybe it's your family. I want your family to have a great time, you know. So,
which is ironic because my mother was there.
I remember your mom, actually.
Yeah, she had a blast.
I met your mom at a meet and greet, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we were also at the Portland meet and greet the next night as well.
Yep, I remember.
Yep, excellent. So can you give us sort of an overview of what a touring tech does on tour? What's your day like for that?
Well, as a tech, as like a backline tech, it depends on, like with Seger, man, that is such a production, and it's, you know, 4 buses of crew guys, band flies into those shows. So, you know, the riggers get there at, you know, sometimes 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to start their job and set the deck and all that. And, you know, it just depends on your role, but like my specific role in the last part of the Seger run, I was altos tech. So I am not a saxophone player, but I somehow became a saxophone tech. And, you know, he tells me exactly what he wants, and you just have to mimic it every day. And it gets crazy, man, because that guy's got just as many saxophones as most touring guitar guys have guitars, you know. But that band is fantastic. They're easy to work with. They're just such professionals. Most of his band at this point are all Nashville recording guys. Rob McNally, the guitar player, is actually, you know, he's on more recordings than I think most people would realize. I think he's got the #1 hit. He's a guitar player on the #1 hit in country music right now today, I believe. He did Miranda Lambert had a #1, I think, a couple weeks ago, and he was the guitar player on that.
Nice. So
those guys are just great. So basically, man, you just go and you take care of them and make sure they're good and everything's where they want it to be. And, you know, you repeat yourself every day. I mean, really, you know, and then make sure the artist is good to go. And every once in a while, you're lucky enough to have a friend or a family member show up in between load in and showtime. So, you know, and you eat a lot of barbecue. And you go to New York, you got to eat a lot of barbecue. I can't tell you how
wide variety of food.
Dinosaur barbecue sauce I've had since I've been home. I order them and bring them home.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet, Shelby. So one of the biggest questions that a lot of people are curious about, they want to know, what do you do on your days off while you're on tour?
Oh man, it's different. Like a lot of times, like, so with Pop Evil, we don't get that many days off, man. Like we're running 5 or 6 shows a week. And if we have a day off, typically they're not together, maybe a Monday and a Wednesday or something. And one of those days is laundry. One of those days is I go get my own hotel room and hide from everybody to decompress. When you're responsible for 12 grown adults, months straight, you kind of just need to get away. Haley and I have this tradition when we get to the hotel on our day off, we pull out our camping chairs and we sit outside and we sit in the sun and just relax together and we have a beer and maybe one of us falls asleep. Maybe we both stay awake. We either fall asleep or we have very little conversation, but we just hang out together. So that's kind of our thing. But, Dave likes to golf and, everybody's got their own thing. But like on Seger, it was different because he won't do 2 shows in a row. So you had multiple days off. So like we went into New York City and, I think we had 3 days off before the Madison Square Garden show. So, my buddy Don Jameson lives there. So I hung out with him a little bit, went to his show. I did a lot of touristy stuff, man. Like I had never been, I'd never seen the John Lennon tribute thing there in the park. I had never seen Statue of Liberty other than flying over it. So I kind of did that stuff. But, it just depends on the run and how much time we have.
That's awesome, man.
Last year we played Buffalo Chip. Here's a good one. Last year we played Buffalo Chip, Pop Evil. And we've done it every year for 10 years, or they've done it every year for 10 years. This is the first year we didn't do it because of COVID, but we went out there. We were out west. We had to fly to New York to do New York State Fair. Did that, flew back to Denver, got back on the bus, rode up to Sturgis, and we were actually in Sturgis 4 days before our show. It was the longest amount of time we've had off at one point. It was such a long time. And, it was cool because we stayed up. There's a guy named Woody, he owns Buffalo Chip. And he had us up on his property, put the bus up there in this hayfield. And Colt Ford had his bus up there too. And, man, I rented a car, and we did the Black Hills in the car. My wife flew out. We just had 4 days, like I was showing her what was going on and went to shows every night. She got to see her Snoop Dogg show. Theory of Dead Man actually opened up for them, so that was fun. Those guys are fantastic.
Yeah, we had them once.
Yeah, they're great, man. Great dudes. And their crew guys are great too. If you ever get a chance, to talk to them, they're great dudes too.
Yeah.
So
we're reaching out to everyone. Cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
So touring between, say, Bob Seger versus Pop Evil are 2 widely different styles of music, but also widely different crowds and sort of feelings and stuff like that. When you're the touring manager for Pop Evil, what is your day like for that?
Okay, so my day is all over the place because I do so much in that band. I'm the first one up, and I'm usually the first one to bed because I'm exhausted. But, I get up pretty early. I'll be up by 7 or 8. Before we even get to the venue, I'm usually talking to managers about the night before, or, I'll call home. That's my good time to call home and have a cup of coffee and get to the venue, man, and just go. I load in my office, and, you start with sets and day sheets and all those types of things, and then make sure everyone's got their passes, like your photo passes and whatnot. It's the time to start doing that. You try to get as much of that done as you can earlier in the day because you're inevitably either going to have somebody added later in the day, or you'll have forgotten about somebody because there's so many people, and it's day after day after day. So, running back and fixing that or whatever, and checking in with the venue guys, and the crew's pretty self-sufficient. I'm really lucky. I have a really great group of guys I'm very proud of and I care about very much. And they're very, very good at their jobs. They're very self-sufficient. So I'll go out and check on them every once in a while. Most of the time I check on them just to make sure that they're having a good day. And sometimes I make them stop and just take a breather and like, hey man, I got a long day ahead of you. Why don't why step outside for 5 minutes, just get some fresh air, you know? So a lot of that. And then, you know, the band guys start waking up and they all have their different needs that you got to kind of attend to. And, you know, you might have to send runners to go get stuff or whatever, and then you gotta make sure you're on. The big thing is timekeeping, because you have to make sure you're on time. So like when bands like yourself come, I want to make sure that we're ready for you. We have a space for you. You're comfortable with a dressing room area or the best available option for that, at least. And by the time that happens, now you're already talking about VIP. So now VIP shows up, and that's a whole nother animal. And then you got to make sure the opening act starts the right time, doors start at the right time. It's just so many elements that go into it. And I don't think that people really realize. I know when I was younger, I mean, I kind of really thought like you just showed up at a shed venue or something, and shit, man, shit's already there. They just come play and that's it. But you don't realize, man, it takes like, 12 hours, 15 hours, just depends on the band of the show. But, and then when we did some of these we did a couple of arena tours, almost said stadium, but arena tours. We went out Disturbed last year for a while. Man, that was a great tour because we could show up late. Being a supporting act, like that's great, especially for a band like Disturbed, because, that tour manager does a lot of the pre-work and he advances the shows as far as for us and whatnot too. So we wouldn't have to show up until like, I don't know, man. I think we showed up at like 3 o'clock and we'd be loaded in by like 3. No, we would dump by like 3:30 and then get on deck by maybe 5 after Disturbed sound check. And we would go up, we'd do sound check. 2 hours later, the doors open, we do our set. And I got everything in the trailer and we're loaded out and enjoying the show, watching Disturbed. So tours like that are great. We did that with them. And then last year we were also out with Skillet and Seven Dust. And man, every night seeing Seven Dust play, dude, those guys are so great. Such a great bunch of guys. Skillet was fantastic to us. And then like we went out with Nickelback last year. It was the same kind of thing too. Just such good people. And then what's fun for me and fun for the rest of the crews, and I'll speak for other people too, because I think they're all saying, but the camaraderie between the crews, the different crews. Like I have friends on the Disturbed tour. Before I even showed up, I knew some of the guys there. Nickelback, there's a guy named Takumi. Takumi's one of the best in the business. He was Prince's guitar tech. He was, so-and-so's. Like he's been all over the map. He's with Bush. We were out with Bush for a couple shows in Mexico last year. And then, there's another guy, Tom Weber. Tom Weber is CC DeVille's guitar tech. Well, he's out with Bush. And, I've talked to him this whole time off. Same thing with Takumi. Like the camaraderie between the crews is amazing. Like it's such a healthy environment for the guys that are actually on buses to be able to call other crews and just, have a laugh, or, you can have the same bitch, but like kind of understand each other that you're not really bitching. You just need to get off your chest. And
we're familiar with that here.
Yeah, man. And venues is the same way, man. Like you guys at venues, you guys being at the same venue, you guys all have your camaraderie. I mean, look what you're doing now. You have the show, right? Mm-hmm. So it's something special. Music is something special, and it's not just on the music level. It's on the personal level. It's. I don't know what I'd do without it, to be honest. So
you've got a great
track your actual question, but
no, it's okay. It's very interesting. We're glad to hear it all. Your perspective, though, is fantastic with your group of people that you tour with. You seem very fair to work for and just a regular decent guy.
Yeah, so. I appreciate that. Like an example, you guys talk to Sanjay. Sanjay is a great buddy of mine. He came out to where we played in. We played with Skillet at Seven Dust in Arizona last summer, and Shinedown happened to be off. And he came out to the show, man. It was good just to hang out with him, not the show vibe. He didn't have his camera in his hands. He could just chill and like sit in a chair. We had conversations. His buddy was there. Man, they're just great dudes. Like even we came home from this acoustic tour we did in, I guess it was January. And Royal Tusk, friends of ours that are from Canada, were in town. And I saw Hoogie there. So Hoogie's one of the he's a bass tech for Shinedown, right? So I ran into him there, and like, it's just, you run into these guys and you make these friendships that you may not see these guys for 6 months because you haven't run across them, but the minute you do, it's like, the brotherhood's there, you know, or the brotherhood, sisterhood, or, you know, whatever the case may be. It's just there, and it's special, man. It's special. It's a different level.
It's cool. Well, let me ask one more question, and I'll turn it over to him. But so when you're on the road with Pop Evil, how many crew members are you touring with?
It depends on the actual tour, because sometimes we have a photographer that comes with us full time, and that person also will take over social media for the run, or at least, you know, provide most of the content and do most of that. There's other people that still help. You know, I haven't had a lighting tech, so I don't have that space filled. But my bus is 12 deep. I have 12 people on the bus, but that's with the band. So I have 7 crew guys total, including myself. And, you know, we just bust hump. At some point, maybe we'll get a crew bus and a band bus, and I'll be able to up my crew guys a little bit. But they work hard, man, and they're just good dudes. I can't say enough about them, to be honest with you.
So excellent show too, by the way.
I couldn't help but overhear. You said you need a lighting tech. Little fun fact, I originally went to college for lighting design and theater. That was what my pursuit and passion was going to be, and I switched over to a business management degree. But yeah, man, I used to do
right?
I'm a photog now, but yeah, I used to be a master electrician for shows that would come into our local theater down at the college campus. And yeah, man, my photography business is called Catching Light. That's like my favorite thing in life is lighting. So
you're the guy that gets why a lighting guy puts on the greens or the reds right when you don't want them on.
I know they do it.
We all know that. We all know about that one. That's for sure.
We actually have an episode dedicated to that.
Or the infamous, I'll tell you a funny lighting story thing that seems to be true no matter where I go. And a lot of my other buddies will tell you the same thing. For whatever reason, every time it's time to do line check, that seems to be about the right point of the day, no matter what tour you're on, that the lighting tech is just about ready to do strobe check. It's always the same time. You're like up there trying to make sure somebody's guitar is good. All of a sudden, you got strobe in your face everywhere. And they don't do it on purpose. It's not an intentional thing. It just happens to be that point in the day where they're ready to make sure the strobes work. And oh man, I watched a buddy of mine, Bobby O. Bobby O was with Motley Crue for years. He's been a mix guy for like 30 years. But he was on Seger with us, and one of the lighting guys, I think, was just going through making sure everything was on, and some strobe hit or something. And I had never seen somebody just bellow out, "Turn that shit off!" As loud as he did. He's an old timer too. It was great, man. But, yeah, so you understand that. You understand the bad colors at the wrong times.
So many sleepless nights during tech week, being behind a light board and just being in the theater by myself, putting on individual lights, seeing where I wanted things to come up. Now that was for theater. I know it's probably much different for concert, but that's definitely a realm that I understand and have a great appreciation for, is the lighting side of things.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, it's a different world. Those guys are very creative with very limited. You know, they only have so many fixtures. Yeah, and they get creative with them. It's pretty amazing technology, even with the different digital boards and whatnot that they have now. You know, on deck and whatever. So cool technology.
Now, you had mentioned before about lining up house photographers. Do you ever run into problems with the house photographers at different venues?
Man, not really. Like everybody I think it's like with anything else. If you're doing it long enough and you're doing it enough, you kind of know what to do and what not to do, and what you can get away with and what you can't get away with. Certain venues, so like I'll use Machine Shop as an example. Probably, every band you've ever thought of has gone through the Machine Shop at this point, in their younger career. Anybody from 2000s to now, at least. And, there's a guy there, Minty, and he's about the only guy I know that can get away with just about anything anywhere, because he's been around the Hailstorms and the Shinedowns and the Pop Evils and the, you name it, since they were like baby bands, first on the bill. And so he's developed that relationship over the years, and he'll travel to go see guys and stuff. But for the most part, man, guys know, be respectful to the band, and you guys don't want bad work. The band doesn't want bad work put out, and that's a mutual thing, obviously. But I haven't really had any problems. I don't get guys to get up on the deck out in the way. I don't have my sound guy yelling at me, this guy's in my area or nothing. People are respectful, I think, for the most part. And if they're not, it's maybe I have had a couple, I guess, but it's just one of those you ask them, hey man, that's it for today. I hope you got some good ones. You got to be polite about it because maybe they don't know, or maybe they don't know what they can get away with. I can't.
Yeah, we all work together too, and we do this first 3 songs and get out of there. But we've run into some where hey, you can't post that picture. Let's see the card or
or you forget you're on the 4th song and you spaced it, and then you get the tap on the shoulder, and it's like, okay,
But you probably have some bands that allow you to stay out a little longer once in a while, right? Or is your venue just cuts it off?
I've never run into that personally, and I've been there 6 years.
Yeah.
Kids Bop, that's the only one.
Kids Bop, yeah. It's usually set by the touring manager. I mean, our venue is very specific. The tour manager sets all the rules for everything, pretty much.
Yeah.
And Alice Cooper let us do 4 songs, and they allowed us to be in the pit and stuff like that. Generally, it's always front of house, which is over by the soundboard, and you got 2 to 3 songs. That's the general consensus for most of them. But I guess it really depends on how active. I want to say how youthful that band is as well, because I find the youthful, newer bands are hungry for more social media. Yeah. Whereas the more seasoned bands are like, we already got our guy, so we don't really need you, sort of speak. I don't want to say need you. You know what I mean?
Now, when you have
they feel like they're covered if you don't get good shots.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, at that point, man, you're just doing it out of you love doing it, and it's for the venue.
And our job is really the fan experience. Our job is really to get the fan. We do a lot of tailgate and stuff like that. Sure. And then if the band allows it, we get to.
Fun's that, man?
It can be fun. We get lots. We get lots of barbecue out there.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you you say that about the fan thing. One of my favorite things to do. I do this, and I probably have other things I could be doing at this point, but I've made a point with Pop Evil that before doors open, I go check to make sure my crew's good, everybody's good. Make sure the opening bands are good. They've all got their side. I don't let anybody open the doors until both. If we have 2 opening bands, I want everyone to have at least a good solid sound check. So I try not to ever let that happen to opening band where they don't get a sound check. But I'll go at the front door and I'll be like, all right, we're ready. And as soon as they say they're ready there, I'll walk out the line, man. I walk down the line. I shake as many hands as I can and say thanks for coming. And, I enjoy that face-to-face with the fans too. And I can't get it on stage because I'm not the band. So I'll try to get it there. And then, you see some familiar faces and they keep coming back. And I really enjoy doing that. I'll at least get through like 100, and then I got other things I have to go get done. But, it's just fun to walk the line too. And different aspect from what you're doing, but, same kind of catching them outside and watching that anticipation, and they're all having fun. And
now, when you have a photographer touring with you, does the band ever want to go through the photos before they get out on social media, or do they just trust them?
With Pop Evil, I think we've had 4 different photographers since I've been with them, and they're asked as soon as a show's over to go find a space, whether it be in a dressing room or on the bus or, somewhere that they can concentrate and go through what they think are the garbage ones to get rid of them. Because let's be honest, man, you'll take 20 pictures and maybe you only there's only 2 that you really like because the light was perfect, whatever, angles are perfect. But, so they're asked to do it quickly because they want to put up the photos, the top 1 or 2 or 3 photos of the night, and they want to thank the crowd for being there. So they're going back through them right away. And when we get on the bus to start rolling, or even sometimes before that, Lee will go look at the photos and say, I like these ones. Let's use these ones. Can you send these ones to me right now? And the rest of them get put away for, other usage, maybe, promotional or whatever. But, Lee's very involved, and he takes ownership of making sure that the product is what he wants coming out, which I have a lot of respect for that. You know, I know that, I don't know if Brent from Shinedown does that to that degree, but I know that he's very involved and has his hands dirty in regards to everything that's going on too. I got to respect guys and bands that do that, because, you know, some guys will call it in and they'll just say, hey, go do your thing, and they'll leave it be. And, you know, maybe it's not what they would choose. So, with Pop Evil, he picks the stuff right away. So
Cool.
I just got a quick question for you, kind of on the same topic real quick. Now, and maybe you can't speak for everybody in the industry, but maybe some people, do bands like seeing their photos? So us as photographers, obviously that's our passion and we love it. And so if we do a show, a lot of times if we have permission, we'll put our photo on Instagram or social media and try to tag the band. Do they actually, like, you know, enjoy looking at those photos and they're like, wow, that was a cool shot from our show tonight? Or they kind of just go about their day? Is it not as important to them?
My experience with the people I've been with, you know, I'm not going to include Seger, because I don't know if Seger even gets online. I mean, he's 73, but I know the rest of the band, Silver Bullet, a lot of them would they would repost things and give the photo credit or whatever, you know. And I know that band members have with Pop Evil. I know when I was with Stone Temple Pilots, it was the same thing. Robert, a lot of times, would repost a cool photo if you saw it, and he'd give the person the credit. So I would venture to say yes.
That's cool.
My experience, at least, has been that way. So, yeah, I mean, I certainly go out there. I know that, you know, if you go like on Instagram, you can look for the hashtags, and they all pop up. And sometimes, man, there's some really good ones. Even the fans sometimes on their phones will catch a really special moment, you know, that 1 in a million picture that it's like, oh, wow, that's a really good one for a phone, you know. So, yeah, I think people do. I'm always told, it wasn't so much a Seger, but it was Stone Temple Pilots and Pop Evil both were like, hey, man, just if you get a chance, you can flip some great pictures on your phone, go ahead. And Scott Hall, the drum tech for SDP, has a perfect vantage point, because in that band, he sits behind Eric, and he can always stand up and take that nice little quick shot of the crowd.
Yeah.
He always would get some really great crowd shots from the stage, and the band always liked those and used those a lot while I was there. And I try to do the same thing for Pop Evil, but to be honest, I'm running around doing bass changes. I'm checking on front of house. So every once in a while I'll get a couple of good ones. But the nice thing about having local guys that know the venue is they know the good angles for that particular venue, and we can rely on them, you know. Like, if I don't get a good shot, at least maybe we can find one online and say thanks for the shot, give credit, you know. So
Now, Shelby, you've obviously been around this business for a long time. You toured the world, I would imagine. Can you give us some favorite tour venues that you've been to, and maybe some that are not so favorable?
all right, so I'd be remiss to say that if I did not start off with saying the Machine Shop is by far my favorite venue of its size, because the personality there, the owner, the staff, watching young bands develop into the bands they are now, like a Shinedown, a Pop Evil, Hailstorm, Like a Storm, like all these bands that are, are on that trail on the way up, or have already been there. Seven Dust, like all those guys have been through there. The history there, that place now reminds me, and I think a lot of people would agree, it's the CBGB of today, and it's the Whiskey A Go-Go of today. No matter where you go in the world, if you're at a concert venue somewhere, or you're at a festival somewhere, you'll see crew guys, band guys, whoever, they're all got the Machine Shop sticker, they got the Machine Shop hoodie, they got the Machine Shop shirt, on their work box they got a sign or whatever. That venue is special because of Kevin, and I would put that place at the top of the list just because of that. Now, that aside, the favoritism aside, because of how I feel about the place, Madison Square Gardens on my birthday last year was incredible. I'll never forget it. It was the second to last Bob Seger show that he may ever do. My buddy Don Jameson came, hung out with me for a little bit. Miranda Lambert was a guest of mine. She came out. Her tour manager, production manager, great people. Got to see them, friends of ours, you know. So Madison Square Gardens was incredible. Probably the most neat venue I ever did that I really liked is in Amman, Jordan, actually. We did an old Roman Empire type rock structure that had never been done before, and they don't have concerts there, and they brought in all the staging and the lighting, and it was just an incredible event. And I don't think that could ever be repeated that way. So that one was cool.
Was that?
That was with Jeff Goot. So that was before he was with Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh, okay.
So we went over there and did that 3 months. I think we did Turkey and India and where else? Or Egypt, Jordan. We were all over the place.
Wow.
So yeah, it was cool.
So you
Doesn't
also
sound like you're home much.
You know, no. And this summer's been amazing as far as being home, and I get to get on the motorcycle and spend time with my wife and spend time with the kids. And it's been great. It's been really great, to be honest.
Nice. That's good. Now, this name might sound familiar to you, Matthew Shaffer.
Oh, Matt, yes.
Give him background on Matthew Shaffer
He lives about
and
2
how
miles.
how he got his name.
You know, I don't know how he got his name. I mean, I guess maybe Bob named him. I don't know. Kid Rock might have named him. I'm not sure. But
Is he relative of Kid Rock? Do you know?
No, man. They all grew up in this area. We all are in the same area. So Matt actually lives probably about 2 or 3 miles from me.
I don't care.
He's over on the water. Got a really nice place on the water. His guitar player is one of my best friends, and he's, you know, we all joke around, and he's another one, friends with Machine Shop guys and that whole thing, and the Michigan guys all kind of stick together, and you know, he's got great musicians in there, Shannon Kerfman and Jimmy Bones and all kinds of guys in that band. So it is ironically, I think it was 20 years. I think Matt posted today 20 years ago. 20 years ago was the debut for no, actually it was 22 years ago, I think, for Devil Without a Cause record that came out with Kid Rock. And then I think his first solo album came out like 2 years later. So it was 22 years ago for the Kid Rock record, and then 20 years ago for Matt's first solo record. So if you think of that, he's been
did he also have, like, wasn't that on the soundtrack for like a couple movies or something like that too, as well, or something like that?
Well, he did the one song, right, with Kenny Chesney, When the Sun Goes Down or whatever that.
Oh, right.
Was that for Shanghai Noon or something like that?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah, he did that. And then I think you might be thinking of Smash Mouth did with Shrek. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, definitely not.
Which is funny because Matt and Steve are really good friends, so they've done some shit together. So
Well, one other question as far as names are concerned. How did Pop Evil get the name? Do you know?
you would think I would, because Lee has told the story 800 times while I'm around him, like in VIPs and stuff. You know, I think don't quote me on this, but I think he says, you know, I don't even want to say, because I'll mess it all up. He'll get mad at me.
If he's watching this, he's going to be like, come on, dude.
He'll be making a phone call real soon.
And he's going to give me a hard time because I didn't remember. But he's told the story so many times. I think
I've asked
at
him
one
a few
point,
times too,
I think he'll even tell you at one point, he kind of questioned, man, should I name it this? And they already had it that way. And then it's like they just kind of kept it. So.
Hey, thanks for watching part 1 of our interview with Shelby Hansen. You can check out a new episode every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel and talesfromthepit.net. We'll see you next time.